My name is Anindita and I'm so happy to see you here. I am a functional medicine certified health coach and a functional medicine certified practitioner, and today I'm going to share with you my own journey as a mother who had to sort of embrace her life of accepting changes that were necessary to heal my daughter from a severe health issue, right? So because how we face our challenges determines the quality of our lives, and this is a story about how uh, our family faced all the challenges that we had faced several years ago and how it changed our life completely. So I'm going to share some of it, and I hope that it will give you some hope, it will inspire you, and it will empower you, most importantly. So my 7-year-old daughter asked me several years ago, with she had tears in her eyes, that why am I the only one who has eczema? None of my friends have this. Why am I the only one who is not able to sleep at night, who is, I'm itchy, I'm scratching all the time, and people ask me, they look at me strangely, they ask me, sort of weird questions, and they probably think that there's something wrong with me. And so once again, somebody had asked her something. She was too young to understand what was going on, but she knew that, obviously, that she was somehow different. And I had no real answer for her as to why she was the only one who had this issue. Like, nobody in our immediate circle, or that we knew of at that time had any such severe health issues, and specifically one that was very visible. So it was a hard time for her, it was a hard time for us as a family, and as a mother, I had no real answers. She was at that time taking oral medications to keep her eczema under control, and it was sort of, keeping her immune system suppressed, but it was not really, showing her skin in optimal condition. It's just that the eczema was sort of under control, and her life was consumed with doctor visits, with these medications, with moisturizing 5-6 times a day. So it was not what you would call a normal childhood. And I remember that all I could tell her as I hugged her was that, eczema is a part of your life. It is right now a big chunk of your life, but it will never define who you are on the inside. And I don't know why, rather than asking why you are the only one with this, I can tell you that we will find a way to deal with this together, to go through this journey together. You are never going to be alone in this. And I made a promise at that time to my daughter that I would find a more gentler solution, a less harmful solution for her health issues. I didn't know how, I didn't know where to start, but all I knew is that the way that we were carrying on at that time, trying out one oral immunosuppressive after another, oral steroids, we had already gone through the entire range of treatments for her. That was certainly not the solution. So I just knew that. So I had to find a way. I had to do some research, do something, rather than just watch helplessly as things became back to worse. And it sort of just carried on, right? It was just carrying on for years at that time. And during this extremely difficult phase in my life, in our lives, I embarked on a journey that started with embracing the life that we had at that time. So it started by accepting that this was our reality. So we had to make certain allowances for that. But eventually, because we accepted that as a reality, I found a way to create a healing environment that supported my daughter's body, right? That supported my daughter's body's healing process, more importantly. And that made all the difference in the long run as she went off all medications and her eczema came under control. There have been ups and downs since then, and she has been on medication again, but it has never been as bad as it was at that time. So now I share my insights, my experiences, and of course my skill sets as a coach to help my clients who are embarking on their own healing journey, and I work with them as partners, as guide, and as mentors, right? So if you are interested in knowing more about this, more about the coaching program Healing from Within, and would you can schedule your own a 30 minutes call with me, a free discovery call. The link is in the bio. The link I'm going to be sharing here as well, and we can discover what steps you need to take, right? So what's the first step that you need to take? So again, coming back to our own story, our own journey, this extremely difficult phase of our life taught me one thing, that true healing goes much beyond only the physical aspects of managing a disease, right? A lot of it is mental, emotional, and even spiritual for that matter, and it starts deep from within. A lot of the healing that takes place has to start from within, not from any external circumstances or situations. So the good news is that then you always have something that you can do to take charge of your own health, and you can always get better, right? Whether or not a disease is curable, that's obviously depends on what the disease is and what the condition is. Many of the chronic conditions are not in the conventional sense curable, but certainly there is a way to get better, to make peace with it, to reverse many of the symptoms, if not all of them, and lead a much better quality of life than you might be doing so right now. So you may already be dealing with a painful chronic condition, or any chronic illness for that matter, that might be painful, exhausting, and believed to be incurable, and you may have already tried everything that your treatment has asked you to, a doctor has asked you to, medication, therapies, and of course all of that is necessary to prevent further damage, to prevent to bring the disease under control right now, to maybe even manage the symptoms. But till you start going deep within and connecting with yourself and what your body is trying to tell you, it's very hard to know what steps to take and which direction to move towards. But when you start paying attention to your body, when you allow your body to become your guide, you realize what are the things that need to be done. You realize when you tune into your own wisdom, that which direction you need to move towards. So it's today I'm going to talk about 3 things that you need to keep in mind, or you should keep in mind, when you are on any kind of healing journey. This is obviously stemming from my own experience, and I'm going to share 3 things that has helped me tremendously, helped my family, my daughter tremendously, and has played a big role in her healing process, right? So the first thing is that you will need to prepare yourself mentally and emotionally. As much as the physical aspects of a disease need to be managed, I think the preparation that has to happen is much more on the mental and emotional side, because without that we don't have the mindset that is necessary to cope with the challenges that come up, that are already there, right? Sometimes we need to change our perspective in order to be able to cope better with any kind of health issue. I know that certainly for me, till then I had never really thought about what kind of approach I took towards life, what kind of mindset I had, what kind of perspective, the way I looked at the world. I never thought of those things. They did not even register in my life. But when when we were going through those tough times, I started questioning the way I used to look at things, right? I realized that I had to find a better way to look at things, maybe get a fresh perspective. It was not easy. This realization did not come overnight, and it took me a long time to realize that the way my thoughts played a big role. My mindset played a big role, my approach, my perspective played a big role on how I would eventually deal with this. And it had to change. Certain things that I used to think were true had to change. I used to think that all the answers lay with outside of with others, right, with the experts. That was not true. I realized that a lot of things are internal, and I had to find those aspects which we could change, right? And for me, reading books and hearing about other people overcoming their challenges played a big role. I'm a voracious reader, so that's what worked for me. For you, it might be listening to others, like listening to different podcasts, maybe watching some inspiring videos, whether it's on YouTube or wherever else that you consume video content. So but just knowing how to prepare yourself mentally, emotionally plays a huge role when you are trying to cope with any health challenge or any other challenge for that matter, right? So rather than focusing on only things that are going wrong in your life, you also need to look at what things are going well. And that was a big change for me, because there were so many things which were wrong, there were so many issues that we were facing, um, because of a natural negativity bias that our brain has, automatically has to get stuck only in things that were bad, right? And it used to look that everything was so bad, and it would never get better. So I had to constantly remind myself to also look at things that were going well, that we had so much of support coming in from our extended family. My husband was supporting me in whatever I had decided to do. We had the financial means to make those changes in our diet, etc. So all these things were really things that I started appreciating. So to be inspired and have a fresh perspective becomes really important. So find your way, to remain, to prepare yourself, right? That's what I would say where you need to start. The second thing is, as you realize, as you go along, that probably certain things in your life will have to change. Like you have to change maybe certain aspects of your diet, maybe lifestyle, etc. And that means that you will need to take steps to do that. And it can become overwhelming very fast, right? I know, because I was trying to figure out what are the changes in our lifestyle, in diet, in the products that we were using. For example, I realized that I had to change our laundry and cleaning products, our personal care products. So when I started changing the laundry products, I realized that at that time, I'm talking about 2014-15, the gentler solutions were the actual soap nut. It's called Vita in India. So I had to switch from the typical laundry detergent that we were using all these years to the soap nut, which were actually fruits. I had to put it in a small bag which used to come pouch, and then put it in the washing machine. So it was quite not a very easy thing to learn, and a bit messy. But at that time alternatives were not really there. Now there are plenty of alternatives, and you don't need to go through all of that. Sometimes it did not really clean very dirty clothes. I had to find an alternative solution. But just a small example of how I had to change these small things, because I knew that what we were using till then was not really helping. It was filled with a lot of chemicals, and I had to move to a more non-toxic and eco-friendly solution for her. So and all this came up actually in my research, but I didn't have anyone to guide me or support me in doing this. So I had to learn my way through, and it was only by taking baby steps that I sort of didn't give up, right? It took a long time to see improvements, because I was going so slowly, but I had no option at that time, right? So a lot of times what I'm trying to give you permission to take baby steps. If you need to, if you know exactly what you need to do, then that's fine. But if you're trying certain things, taking baby steps makes sense actually most of the times, right? Then that way you don't get overwhelmed, and that way you don't give up easily. And if you have someone to help you, guide you, like a coach, like a functional medicine coach, then your life obviously becomes much easier, because then you know what steps to take one after the other. But either way, to keep your sanity and to sort of keep going, taking small steps makes real practical sense. And the third thing is to keep yourself motivated during the challenges that inevitably come up. So no matter how committed I was, no matter how much I wanted this, how badly I wanted this for my daughter, there were so many challenges which came up when I started making these changes from 2015 onwards, actually, because I started implementing and practicing functional medicine principles, which is about addressing root causes, in 2015 for our family, for my daughter's health. And it was in the beginning I didn't see much improvements, and it's very easy to give up at that time. It's very disheartening, and the only way I could keep going was having sort of building trust in myself. I don't think I had ever embarked on a inner journey till then, but I did at that time, and I built this trust, that I had in myself, in my own intuition. I had never been guided, I think, by my own intuition till then. I had not really thought about it. I had not really allowed myself the stillness and the space to listen to my own intuition, to go with my instincts. But I started doing that, and I knew that I was on the right track. And that's how actually I kept going. That's how I kept myself motivated. And again, there are so many different ways of doing that, but I think this inner work of self exploration, this inner journey plays a key role. As this, that is how you can actually keep yourself motivated even when things don't really, may not really look up as of now immediately. So there were lot of times there was no clear end in sight, and in fact it took 2 years. So we started in 2015. It was only in 2017 that I could see that she was doing much better, and eventually we could get her off all medications. And even then we've had ups and downs. So this is something that has to be ongoing, right? In fact, till then, I didn't realize how much of my life I had sort of floated through, sort of half asleep, and it was only then I started waking up. And this is a inner journey that I've been on since then. And with all of these that I've mentioned to you today, we reached a stage where not only did my daughter's physical symptoms get better, her eczema came under control, she got off the medications, but her inner self-confidence, a sense of self-worth, a lot of these things remained intact. And it was only because, I know that it was only because of the work that I did for myself, and as a result I could sort of pass it on, and she could take it up from me. A lot of these things are learned by observation. Our children are forever observing us, and it was the mindset and the approach and the words, all of these had huge roles to play. So all of these that I did for myself, I helped my daughter to also do the same for herself, right? She was quite young at that time. And yeah, and that has been our journey. Today she is a strong, confident 16-year-old teen, and there are challenges that she faces. Her life has changed because of her health issues, but she's not the one who cribs about it or feels that she's a victim. And for that I'm immensely grateful for what I learned and what this phase has taught me personally, and allowed me to sort of share my gifts with the world, to become a coach as a result of that experience, as a result of the insights and my learning, which I can now share with my clients. And as my clients go through the same journey that we did so many years ago, as they navigate the uncharted territories, the turbulent waters, the uncertainty of dealing with any kind of health challenge, I'm able to hold their hands, I'm able to guide them, and not only with the theoretical knowledge that I have gathered because of my own certification, etc., but also, I think more importantly, the inner journey that I have been through, right? All these years, the insights that I have learned, I think that has a tremendous role to play in my clients' transformations, and I'm really happy about that. So if you would like to know more about how sort of we can work together, how I can help you, how this program can show you the way, can guide you, it's called Healing from Within. I would be opening it for enrollment again next month. It's closed right now. And you can just simply have a chat with me, and maybe we can see what are the next right step for you. It's you can schedule a free 30 minutes free discovery call, and you can just head to the link in the bio or to ananditarunta.com/call. So it's ananditarunta.com/call, and I'll see you again soon.